like a bag for these, please, buddy?
That would be just fine.
Hey, take these, buddy.
My name isn't Buddy. It's Durant. Robert G. Durant.
I once said to a woman at a party, apparently I have a face for scaring 12-year-old boys. And she said, yes, you do. And I went, thank you. You were supposed to argue with me. That would have been nice, but you don't have to.
Yes, I'm Robert G. Durant.
Everything's oversimplified and too easily pigeonholed. And Hollywood's made a specialty of that. I've always known I've looked like a truck driver and I've talked like a school teacher. And that's confusing to Hollywood. So I've learned to play blue-collar truck driver types. And I've known since college, basically, I play big and dumb, big and funny, or big and mean. But it all has to do with big. It's all going to be about the way I look to some degree or other.
Send Robert in.
I knew DARKMAN was something I liked for the contrast of it, given what I was playing on television. I auditioned for it, and I'm not sure it was my best prepared audition ever, but I was at least game. I remember holding pages, which I don't think is the right thing to do. I think you should learn your auditions. But I was like holding pages, and I did whatever scene they requested or whatever. And I just jumped into it, and I kind of did. I was winging it, but I was apparently winging it well. Like I say, not well prepared, not good. But Sam requests that I do this scene of the two of them in the revolving door. So basically, I'm playing me, and I'm playing him playing me in the revolving door. And Sam just said, let's do that scene. And I went, oh, fine, thanks, great. And I'm thinking, how do I do that? And I just stopped thinking about it, and I said, just do it. And so I remember in this audition jumping back and forth. One side was one guy, the other side was the other guy. And I just kept changing positions. And apparently, I think Sam confirmed this, but that's what he liked, my willingness to jump in and the ability. And I don't know if I consciously did this, but he apparently also saw some differences in the two guys. I don't know. I can't remember actually trying to create that because I didn't anticipate doing that scene. And so they bring my name up for this role to, I guess, Universal or whoever the producers there at Universal were. And they said, Benny? Because they had seen L.A. Law. Well, apparently Sam, and maybe even Rob, had not seen L.A. Law, so that was no effect on them. They just saw the actor they wanted. They just saw their performance they wanted to put in their film. They didn't have it to compare to other things. And, but at Universal, going, oh, can we do that? So they eventually got worn down and said yes. The only concern I had about the script was the finger cutting.
Now, let's consider my points.
That's something specifically violent that I had never encountered before or even thought about before. And so I know it's going to be even more shocking because it's new.
1. I try not to let my anger get the better of me.
And I think I delayed my decision on this about a week.
2. I don't always succeed.
Trying to figure out how it would work out if some psychologically damaged teenager somewhere in mid-America decided to imitate this character's snipping off people's fingers with a cigar cutter. What an embroiled mess that would be.
3. I've got 7 more points.
In other words, do I want to take that risk? And I did, and that didn't happen, thank God. It's only a movie. Part of the reason I like the style of this film is It handled the violence in a stylistic enough way you didn't have to totally bite. It was graphic while being fun.
Have a nice flight.
Sort of had an initial sense of the character, and my first, and even now, the constant description I use is that he's a fully socially unredeemable person. There's no intrinsic value in this man, which makes him, in some ways, simple to play. It's just nothing gets in. Nothing. I don't know if it's soulless, but it's certainly disengaged from life.
The name isn't Buddy, it's Durant. Robert G. Durant, and I wish to speak to Mr. Guzman.
And this was an extreme villain. There's nothing, this was not a man who tried to justify his life, rationalize things. And I think one of the decisions I made early was I didn't want him to enjoy anything. It just became efficient. Just became the most efficient way to handle something rather, because I always found that sadistic, mustache-twirling villain, it's melodrama, it's crap, it's that shit. Avoid that at all costs.
We've come only for documents. Tell us where to find the Belisarius memorandum and we shall disappear. Like a nightmare before the breaking day.
And the other thing was, I remember, we set the timer thing that's collected right before that blows up his lab. And Ted and I are leaving that scene, but I put my arm around his shoulder.
Rick, I'm proud of you.
A very subtle establishment of my character's possible desire for his character.
Hey, Durant wants to know where Rick is, and he is hot. I mean, really hot. I mean, don't ask me why. I know he likes Ricky.
There was something about it that made you go, really? Okay. Darkman is actually trying to create a replica of Durant and succeeds in doing that and dealing with one of his cohorts. The only reason it falls apart is because I happen to enter the same revolving door. And we do double takes at each other. This is where film cheats. How the hell would he know what I'm going to wear that day? But I remember to some degree creating some, like the ties were slightly different. I wanted at least a slight difference in our voices.
Not me, him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
I may have adjusted the pitch about half an octave or a quarter or something like that. But mostly it was emotional. It had to do with intent. It had to do with the look in the eye. It had to do with I'm getting pissed off as Durant. He, as Darkman as Durant, is now getting nervous. And I just had to distinguish emotionally between the two, and you knew, and that took a bit of an adjustment when telling Raphael who to shoot.
Don't just stand there! Do something!
And it was mostly an emotional commitment to what one needed and what the other needed, and there were some subtle differences.
Shake him!
I got my first helicopter ride in Darkman. Never been in one. And when Sam found that out on the set, he's talking, we're going to go do these downtown helicopter shots, ones he needs me in. And I said, well, my first helicopter ride, and he said, ooh, really? So you'll love it. So he actually, I think, if I remember, he sends me up in the helicopter by myself just to get used to it, probably to see if I'll throw up. If I do, this is not what he wants to shoot, so why get the other helicopter in the air? But anyway, I didn't, but I remember the first encounter. We're spinning over downtown LA and we're going about sideways, basically, 90 degrees. And I realize I'm looking straight down, not even the slightest angle, straight down on downtown LA. And still somehow staying in this thing, a lesson in centrifugal force. I'm learning, wow, I don't even need the seatbelt. I just stayed there without the seatbelt. It's just it's a scientific lesson. And so, but from then on, for the next 2 or 3 days when we're working with the helicopters, Sam would say, you want to go up? You want to go up? Whether he needs me or not, I said, I'll go up when you need me. You need my face, I'm there. If you don't, it's okay. Because I had a great time. And he knew it, and he said, okay, let's take advantage. The first real largish kind of emotion we see with him is when he's in the helicopter, firing on Darkman and he keeps missing. It makes Durant angry. That whole helicopter sequence and trying to kill Darkman frustrates Durant. But before that, everything else is just absorbed. And there isn't much change in him.
Kiss your ass, goodbye! No! Burn in hell!
Is Darkman.
I gotta tell you something about me.
He has the power to look like any man.
There's two of both of them!
I remember it had a decent first weekend, something like $40 million. It was decent. But it made most of its money later in ancillary markets, video, which is why Darkman 2 exists, from my understanding, is they looked at their successful video sales and wanted to recreate a successful one. So the original Darkman was apparently very successful in video. Therefore, Darkman 2, I think, became their first straight-to-video production.
You think you kill him, and he pops up someplace else.
I loved doing the first Darkman. Second Darkman I liked even more because it was all about me. Here's an actor answer. It was my character, was the guy. It's still called Darkman 2, and he was there, but this was to focus on this dead guy they killed in this helicopter. It was a lot of fun. It was, yeah, it had a much more limited budget. I mean, the original Darkman didn't have a huge budget. This had an even less of a budget. Couldn't blow up helicopter models. We blew up a big limo Cadillac thing, though. That's how I died the second time. So I died twice. And a lot of people were gathered at the Hitchcock Theater at Universal to see the final version of this. I'd seen some in looping and this and that. I'd seen little pieces. And I was there when they shot it. But now we're seeing a polished, this is goes out on video. But we get to see it on the big screen. And Sam is there because he produced it, and the director's there, I'm there. There's a whole lot of people there. Oh, and Sam's parents are there. They're in from Detroit. They're visiting or whatever. And so we watch this, and we're leaving the theater, and Sam's parents were very kind, very nice to me. They, oh my God, great to see that character again. Oh, God, we love it, love. It was heaven. Thanks, great. And I'm standing next to Sam, and Sam says semi-excitedly, he said, okay, we got to get you in another movie. Okay, we got to do this again. And I said, Sam, you've blown me up twice. And he says, oh, it doesn't matter, it's a cartoon, it's okay, it's all right. And I said, okay. I'll come back. But I suggested I come back as my ugly twin sister or a brain in a jar. I think that ended up actually leading into a TV pilot of Darkman. And it is the weirdest conglomeration of absolutely no story that I have no idea. It was not a pilot exactly, it was a presentation, they called it. It's only like 10, 15 minutes. And this compilation of images they have not only doesn't tell a story, it doesn't set a mood, which they should do. And I'm not sure it's the thing they put together. I'm not sure where the hell this comes from, how the hell it ended up, or where the hell it went. But I think my impression is it was a huge floppo for whatever reason. It didn't go anywhere. The idea died. I actually think it's a rather presentable idea in some way, but the presentation wasn't very presentable. What I like about Darkman is it's an enormously successful comic book film, and not all of them are. Darkman retains just enough of a comic book sensibility that you're not supposed to totally quite buy into it. You can still go along with it. You can even feel emotions. You can do this, that, but it has a style to it that sets a tone where you kind of know where you stand as an audience member. But this made the film funnier, more entertaining, just a more fun ride.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.